YouTubers, Pastor Bob NCC. Hey, it's Friday morning and I was recording a couple of videos. I had a pretty good devotional this morning, and the Lord showed me a couple of things that I need to work on, and that's always how it is. But listen, when the Lord shows me things that I need to work on, I normally make a video out of it because I think, well, if I need to work on that, most likely there's a couple of people out there that need to work on that too. So I just did the video on the Lord's Prayer, and I'm going to take that one step farther. You know, for 3 years, the Lord had been teaching His disciples. He'd been drilling it into their heads that they have to forgive one another. The Sermon on the Mount, there's like probably 20 places where the Lord sits there and tells them, look, you have to forgive each other. And then after about, this is like 3 years into His ministry, He was getting ready to head to Jerusalem. And He went to go through a town of Samaria, and they didn't want to let Him in. They said, no way, you're going to Jerusalem, go around. And they weren't going to let Him in. And this is what the disciples said. After 3 years of the Lord teaching them to forgive one another, this is what they said. And when His disciples, James and John, saw this, that they weren't going to let Him go through their town, they're going to make Him walk around, they said, Lord, will you that we command fire to come down from heaven and consume them, even as Elias did? But He turned and rebuked them and said, you know not what manner of spirit ye are of, for the Son of Man is not come to destroy men's lives, but to save them. So they're getting ready to head to Jerusalem. They can't go through this town of Samaria. People say, nope, go around. And James and John say, Lord, let's fry them. Let's call down fire from heaven and fry every one of them. This was a small town, probably had about maybe 50 to 75 men. And if it had 50 to 75 men, that means it probably had at least minimum of 100, 125 women and probably 200 to 300 kids. All these people, and just because they were going to make them walk around, James and John wanted to call down fire from heaven and fry them all. People, listen. We all get that way. All of us. You know, I just talked about in the video in the Lord's Prayer that forgiving others is one of the hardest things we ever have to do, because it's not natural. It's not natural. In the flesh, revenge is natural. You slap me, I'm going to shoot you. That's natural. Revenge. We're human. So we have to work on this. And what did Jesus say? This is the cool part about this. Jesus said, ye know not what manner of spirit ye are of. In other words, He was telling them, listen, you're not thinking that up on your own. You're having help from a demon. A demon is putting that thought into your head, and your flesh is taking over, and you're saying, yeah, fry him. People, listen. Whenever someone does something to you, your first inclination in the flesh is going to be to seek revenge. And along with that inclination of the flesh to seek revenge, you're going to have a demonic entity right there amplifying it. Like, you want to reach up and smack him upside the head, and that demon's saying, no way, get a baseball bat and do it. He's trying to amplify it, and pretty soon you're all worked up over nothing. The Lord came and He taught us over and over and over again. Love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, and mind, and love your neighbor as yourself, and forgive others. How long do you have to wait till you forgive them? Immediately. So whenever somebody offends you, and you get those thoughts in your head, to punch them out, and then the demon puts the thought in your head, no, get a baseball bat instead. Recognize it for what it is. It's the flesh wanting you to seek revenge. And then that extra tidbit on the top, that's a demon speaking to you. I'm sure that no one has a problem with this but me. And people, I'm telling you, listen, I'm a pastor, and still, somebody cuts me off, somebody does something stupid, my first inclination is to, you know, yell to them, honk the horn, whatever. But then I've kind of trained myself that whenever anybody irritates me like that, after about a minute or two, the minute it's done, I try to always pray for that person. Like I'll say, Lord, that guy in that car right there, Father, I pray that someone will come into his life and lead him to you. I try to pray for that person. I don't do it for them, I do it for me. It helps me. But anyway, I don't know, maybe I'm the only one that has this problem. None of you do, but I have a little bit of James and John in me. Lord, fry them all. But anyway, I just want to give you something to think about. Heaven or hell, you choose. Just remember, once you take your last breath, it's a done deal.